The All New Radio 103.9 Town Journal Mornings and the best mix of R&B. In the studio, the lovely and talented. Oh, there she is.
Hey.
Looking like she's 22 years old. I'm going to post a video. What is going on? You know what they say, Canadian don't crack.
Deborah Button. You heard Benjamin Button.
Yes. Deborah, what is going on?
I believe it's a state of mind. I absolutely believe, that it's all in how you approach things. It's all in your perspective.
You look great.
So if you think of things and take things from a positive perspective, the outcome will be positive.
And, let's quit playing. Deborah's still young, too. That's the thing. Deborah Cox is young. Okay?
That too.
Let's not, just because she's had a career and all this stuff, she's young. She's a baby.
Thank you.
Deborah, look, great to see you. I thought of you when I heard you were going to come in. I was like, see, things happen for a reason. Same script, different cast. When you sang with Whitney,
right?
And that was in 2000, around that time, right?
2000, yeah.
When you were a baby, you, all the way from Toronto, you had success, and you're now sitting in front of one of your idols.
Yeah.
And you're recording face-to-face, same script, different cast. A song that I was like, Deborah Cox brought it. You were like, what, 20? You're in your 20s, right?
Yeah.
And you're Whitney Houston, and you sang that song, girl, and let me tell you something. Whitney had to put it down because this little young upstart was doing it. And then cut to 2014, and you are now playing the voice of Whitney Houston,
right,
in the biopic.
Right.
What?
Yeah, it's crazy how life is sometimes. I mean, I came into the business. I went to the school of Whitney because that was the female vocalist that was played on popular radio growing up in Toronto at the time. She was the only black woman that was doing that kind of style, and I was like, wow, this woman is amazing. And I want to know more and more about her, and got into her music, and then fast forward to being signed at Arista Records and putting out my albums, and then she also being on the label and having Clive Davis as the executive producer of my records. And I mean, I say serendipity, because that's what it is,
Yeah.
It just came full circle for me. And unfortunately, with her passing came a lot of other things, and the biopic, being approached to do that was something that was, of course, I did not want to have to do that, but because she wasn't, she's no longer with us, it was just a huge, I just knew I had huge shoes to fill.
You did an amazing job.
Man, it was my way of paying honor to her.
Now, what's interesting on the same script, different cast, your voices were very similar. Right. And now when I listened just today, I was like, it was more similar than I even thought. And then, so when you did her, did you just say, okay, I'm going to do me a little bit? How did you inform that decision, the choices when you did her?
That was a tough one, because I initially thought that I would be going in and re-singing the songs, which is actually easier, because I don't have to try and emulate. I would have just gone in and sang the songs in the way that they were recorded, copying every sort of riff and that kind of thing. But this was different. When I was in the studio with Angela, she was like, well, this is what's going on in this scene, and this is what's happening, and she kind of talked me through each scene. So the whole approach to the song had to be completely different. It had to be taken from a more live performance place.
Right.
What would she be doing live if she was on the road night after night after night, trying to be mother, trying to be wife, trying to be, every woman, literally. And so I sung it with that approach, That was probably the last song on the first day. And so it came from a place of almost being hoarse, like just on the edge, because I had such a long day. I'd literally come from the flight and went into the studio to record. We had 2 days to do it and knock everything out. And so that was the approach for I'm Every Woman. And then I Will Always Love You. Well, she told me about the scene again, and how she always reverted to her gospel roots. with whatever song she was singing. She'd always have a gospel moment, a moment where she could, just of praise and worship. And so Angela was like, I need that moment there. And so that's when the a cappella sort of moaning, yearning moment happened. And it was very much about being very focused on what was happening in the scene.
I think that's what made it so successful was the look. Mm-hmm. And then the sound reminded us of Whitney.
Right, the essence of her.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so, wow. And you actually had real experience singing with her, which was a blessing.
And I pulled from that, all of that. She was just a woman she was so charismatic.
Wow.
And when you were in a room with her, she just lit the room up. You just felt like you knew you were in the presence of greatness because she just had that connection with people without even singing.
And so, Deborah Cox, you come in the room the same way. We love we love your records. We love you. You have so many classics that are part of our lives. Mm-hmm. I'm glad to see that you're back and you look great.
Thank you.
And that you got this new single, "Kinda Miss You."
Kinda miss you.
Oh, a little sexy, kinda miss you.
Yeah.
Well, I know I can't keep you for long. I've been cherishing our little moments together, but I'm gonna play this as you. Why don't you introduce your song as you exit the stage left?
All right. Well, it's your girl, Deborah Cox, right here on Radio 103.9. This is my new single, Kinda Miss You and I Don't Know Why. Hit it.
I'm taking my job, girl. I'm trying to take my job. I just got here.
You lied when I knew the truth.